Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Slow Your Roll. I'm Cody, and this is Alex.
Hey, everybody.
And last time we did this, we were just reading some Reddit RPG horror stories, and it seemed to go pretty well. It had decent response, so we're going to do that again. And by the way, check out this sick shirt, right? Hey, look at that. That's our logo. And you can buy that thing at our little merch store, which we'll have a link for in the description below. So, Alex, why don't you kick us off, buddy?
Yeah, definitely. This one is lighthearted, and it's also by negative M4RT1N1 negative 2.
Perfect. Sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah, I think it's good. Start with a lighthearted one. Let's ease into this.
It's a bunch of letters and numbers that spell out Martin.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can't do that fast in my head, but I get it now.
But a lighthearted story, strangers keep interrupting our 5e sessions in game shops. I've never played public games, but I could probably imagine that would be a problem.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the reasons that I haven't ever tried to play in a game shop, is because I assume stuff like that happens.
All right. I, DM, recently relocated to a new city for my studies. As soon as I got here, I went to a TTRPG convention and used the local Discord servers to form a 5e party. However, my student housing doesn't provide the ideal setting for our game sessions, so we've been meeting weekly at local game shops. During these sessions, there's like a 50% chance of an unwelcome interruption from strangers who don't wait for a break and simply disrupt our games. One time, it happened twice in a single session. These individuals approach us, eagerly pitching themselves for the group, e.g., I have this Eldritch Knight I've been working on for 2 years. I already have all the lore built and the path done. By the way, without any context of the actual campaign we're playing. I've made a conscious effort to maintain politeness when rejecting their offers, usually saying something like, "Sorry, but our party is already full. We're not open to new players at the moment." It's genuinely frustrating when someone interrupts our session, especially during intense combat or deep role-playing moments.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine that. Really bringing down some roleplay time.
Yeah, honestly. It's already hard to fit all that you want in a single session. I couldn't imagine trying to be like, no, I don't want that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, your character sounds really nice and all, but we're trying to play a game here. Sorry, carry on.
Sometimes the strangers will keep watching the game and making comments on our plays and backseat game us. Even worse is when they linger around us even when we have a break in the middle of our sessions and keep trying to convince us to let them join the game. This has happened more than once. I don't like being rude, but being polite is not working and I don't know what else to do. He's also got to edit at the end as well.
Okay. Let's hear that too then.
Thank you all for creative responses and solutions. I'll try out some of them and see what works best. Also, just to make myself clear, I don't have any problems with people quietly observing our game or just quickly asking if there are any spots remaining in the party. The main problem I have is when people just loudly interrupt our game and proceed to dump a bunch of unsolicited information and lore. Tell their whole life story, and then sometimes backseat game the party by suggesting actions or commenting loudly on plays. So I can see where this guy's coming from, and I'm not exactly sure if I have a solution for him.
Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard. That's super hard. I feel like the first thing I could think of doing is I might actually make a sign. If the shop owners would let you, I might even make a sign somewhere, like a big, really visible one that's "please interrupt politely" or "don't interrupt" kind of thing, or something like.
I feel like in a game shop, like somebody's playing a game of like Magic, or somebody's playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, somebody's playing a game of 40K, and then somebody's playing a game of D&D. You could totally just have a sign up in the shop that just says "don't interrupt game in process" or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I could already see being at a place that's like a customer service place, right? Because we work in customer service. I could already see there's the shop managers, but we want the games to be accessible or else people won't come in. So it's like they probably wouldn't even let the sign happen sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you gotta have something in place there, because that would kill a game quick, kill an atmosphere really fast.
Yeah, seriously.
That's tough. All right.
Yeah, what do you
ready
got
for it? Yeah, okay. Let's see. I will also start with a lighthearted tag. Okay, so this one was posted by Shatter4468, and it is titled "The DM Thought He Was Being Smart, but Actually Just Annoyed Everyone." So, here we go. So for context, I'm still very good friends with this DM. He wasn't doing this to be mean or anything, he just thought it would be a lot more cinematic to start a campaign. This is what he did. So I was usually the forever DM for this group, but one of our players decided he wanted to try DMing a campaign. We had just finished a very fun one, so everyone was hyped to get started again. We all create our characters. I was a charismatic rogue, we had an intellectual barbarian, and a fighter and a wizard that were lifelong rivals. We all set up backstories and had fun doing it. I was a human rogue running from my responsibilities as a noble who sought adventure.
Okay.
The barbarian dragonborn was on a quest to locate a series of mystical runes that would grant him the secrets of the universe. The human fighter and wizard just wanted to compete and were the reason our characters became a party. So there's the setup, okay? Here we go. Cue session 1. We arrive at a tavern, having heard tales of one of the barbarian's runes being used to raise the dead from the eastern mountains. We visit shops and meet a few NPCs, and then, just as we are preparing to leave, the sky darkens as swarms of birds flee the eastern mountains. A dragon with scales as red as fire soars over the valley and swoops down, beginning to burn villagers and their homes. The City Watch try to hold them off, but beg the aid of the adventurers, which, from a DM standpoint, that's a pretty cool introduction. That's pretty good. I like that. Not bad. Anyway, the adventurers hold their ground and try to scare it off, but only one of us had much range. Our fighter had a bow and I had a small crossbow, but we couldn't do much, especially at level 1. So all this is happening at level 1.
Wow, okay. Of course.
Yeah, burned letters are scattered across the land telling of a necromancer with an undead red dragon under his control. The rest of the session is us making new characters. Yeah, it's tough. We still play, but I can't help but feel annoyed at the amount of excitement I felt about the characters and their quests, how fun it would be to play. And then we all died, and now I'm a human ranger who was sent alongside a paladin by the king in order to correct this and return the dead to the underworld.
Oh, wow.
What do you think of that?
I'm not too sure. How connected do you think they really were to that character?
I know. Hopefully he remembered all of their backstories decently and like all of their setup and stuff, so probably at least a little bit connected, which is a bummer for sure.
Right.
I do think the way that they set up the new characters, he said that he's like a ranger and the paladin, at least that's tied in with the story. Like their mission was to go correct this thing that happened.
Yeah.
So I could like almost see it, but man, the DM should have done it with, I don't know, just like a zoomed out description of this all happening to NPCs, not necessarily the characters, if that's what he was going for, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, something like that.
You never know. This seems like he took a risk and the risk didn't pay off. But if it did pay off, there would have been some hardcore investment. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, that's all I got for you.
All right, definitely. So, the next one I got is DM overbuffs characters, refuses to retcon, does some extra fudging, and then tries to turn the players against each other.
Yikes.
By T. Farlow 1. So, need to provide my character build for context. I'm not sure they did, but you know.
Yeah, sure. We'll get invested. Try to get invested the same way they were.
Deep Gnome, Blade Singer, 3. Arcane Trickster, 3. 18 dex and 18 intelligence, rolled really well for stats. 17 base AC, mage armor, 21 while in Blade Song, 26 with a shield. I was the AC tank of the party. I try to hit this guy, please. Hit him with saves. Deep Gnome helped with this some, but DM decided to help even more. In a session that I was not even in, a wild magic surge goes off. It's part of the story, not an unknown occurrence, and the DM rolls for my character, and he/I got extremely lucky, giving me a permanent buff. As long as the result of the dice for a saving throw is not 1, you automatically pass the saving throw.
Whoa!
So just don't worry about saving throws ever.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy's armor is just cranked through the roof. And now his saving throws are just crazy good too. Okay, I definitely see the overbuffing.
Yep, try to hit this guy as a DM. I was genuinely shocked when I returned the next week to hear about that buff. I even asked the DM if he was sure, as this buff is really strong. He said he was go with the results of the dice type of guy. I soon began to suspect that was not the case. A few sessions later, the DM is showing frustration, not being able to deal with my character. I ended up taking Lucky next level. We were fighting some low-level mobs, goblins I think, but they only had a +5 to hit, meaning they would have to roll a crit just to hit me. And that is what the DM decided to do 4 times in a row. These were all hidden rolls, mind you. He hadn't hidden rolls before, and I was getting extremely skeptical, but didn't mention it as they did little damage. But I did know something was up. It felt cheap and petty, even after I offered to retcon him over buffing my character.
That's hard.
It gets worse though. In another combat, another player used one of their class abilities. Can't remember which, but all official content. That should have just resolved the combat for us instantly. This was just a major minion type encounter, no boss or anything. The DM read the abilities and says he doesn't like how it's written and he's not going to allow that to happen. The player tries to respond, had not said almost anything, but then the DM just boots him from the server the moment he starts speaking. I don't remember exactly what happened next, but it felt like we ended the session there, or finished combat and then ended. Either way, the following week gets wild. The players, including the one who got booted, get a group chat in Discord and throughout the week are just trying to figure out what the heck happened in that session. All players are siding with the one who got booted, and there is discussion of talking with the DM to possibly leaving as a group to find another. But then in comes the DM messaging each of the players directly, saying some players did not like the others or wanted others out, etc. Something to that effect. I do not remember the exact words. Screenshots of these messages were shared in the players group chat though. We just started laughing at the extent the DM will try to go to save face. We ended up ditching the DM and found another. Dude's over here just trying to sew Discord within his table.
Yeah, using Discord. That's rough. That's really rough. And okay, so to be honest, I think a lot of DMs are guilty of this to some degree, but probably not taking it this far. But it's surprisingly easy to, even if he is just going with the rolls like he said at first, it's easy to accidentally overbuff your characters, and then you have to find a way to balance the game still. But man, that's not how you do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then the one thing that is official content that the player was like, this is something I can actually just do using my character kind of thing. And he's just like, nah. So that's one of those moments that definitely feels bad at the table for the players. And again, that's not what you want to do as a DM.
No, absolutely. And honestly, if you had a problem with any ability, you should probably just say it. Don't let stuff bubble under the surface.
Yeah, for sure. And even if it was, okay, so like the lucky feat, right? Let's say the DM didn't really know how good that was. And then at the table, when the DM realizes, wow, this is really good, a good way to handle that, if you were to actually deal with that as it's happening, is to maybe let it happen the first time and to say right there at the table, just like, wow, this is really good. After this game, we might want to look over this and get it figured out. But for now, let's make it happen kind of thing, just to smooth it over, keep things moving.
Definitely. And to be honest, if you introduce some homebrew stuff and then like you use the feat lucky, for instance, and that's that one thing that pushes it over to make it completely broken, then I think you should probably check out that homebrew a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure. That's hard. That's tough. Not great.
Nope. Not off to a good start, really.
All right, my turn?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Next one was posted by Frozum.
Oh.
That is Frozum02, titled Newbie GM Makes D&D Boring. So, here we go.
All right.
It starts with the title being the first line, technically, so I'm going to read the title in there with it, too. So, Whoa, hold on. That's a different kind of.
What was that?
This just be yes. Welcome back to our medical chat about BMs. All right, how was your no? Okay, so newbie GM makes D&D boring, and I don't know how to tell him. Said GM is the nephew of a good friend of mine. It's his first time running D&D 5e, though he's played a lot. He knows the rules almost perfectly, but he's shy, soft-spoken, and despite this being his 9th or so session, he's not very good at being a public speaker.
Oof.
He can't improvise on the fly, but worst of all, for today, he didn't plan. He's been running Waterdeep Heist, which is like the feud between a couple crime factions and things, and he offered us a choice, and we said we were good with either new stuff or Waterdeep stuff. Problem is, the entire session was boring. He has that all caps, so I wanted to... Anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Little excitement, few if any encounters, and to be honest, only a few adventures related to our plot hooks involving PC backgrounds. Several times, we had long periods of silence waiting for the DM to say or do something. I honestly expected stuff to go down in a tough way, but the way he ran it, we're all just now 3rd level. Everything goes resolved in 1 or 2 sessions with no issues. I wanted to reach out and help the poor guy. I'm thinking a heart-to-heart over an elegant meal at Burger King. So that one's it. That's a pretty short one.
What did they do for 2 sessions?
Yeah, I know. Again, this is... And you feel bad because, honestly, like, being good, GMs don't get enough leeway a lot of times with their players.
Yeah.
So hopefully this guy isn't exaggerating in any way, but even if he isn't, it takes a while. It really does. For some people, it seriously takes a while running just like sessions and games. And it also, the weird thing is it takes a lot of like self-analyzing, I feel like, to be a good DM. Like you have to constantly be like self-criticizing almost. And that can be hard, especially if you're not used to doing that with something like public speaking and improvising and stuff. Like that's not something that comes natural for a lot of people.
It's really hard to say because like I would like to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like I do want to agree with this guy in some way to be like, yeah, it's nice to have an exciting session, but like it's a group game.
Yeah, that's very true.
Sure, if you're getting railroaded really hard with the most boring encyclopedia that you can find, maybe say something. But I don't know. It's a team effort.
Yeah, I agree. I know one thing that can happen if you have a DM that isn't super talkative or isn't the narrator type, or they don't spell out a whole scene with details and everything else, that can open up a lot of opportunities to roleplay among the players. And just, if the DM's not talking much, then everyone at the table talk more.
And that's a good opportunity to have questions or let your imagination go wild. Because if he doesn't describe the room, maybe now you get the opportunity to be like, hey, is there boxes like at my feet? And he's like, yeah, there's boxes right there.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Don't insist stuff like that, but it gives you the opportunity to set the setting.
To some degree, you can, I feel like especially in this situation, to some degree, if you're patient and like calm about it, you can totally do some of the improvising for the DM with stuff like that, for sure. What's in this room? You said it was underground. Does it like smell like there's any, I don't know, like gases or anything weird that's not supposed to be here? Since you're in like a poisoner's lair or something, like maybe you can do some of the improvising for the DM in that case.
Definitely. And I do feel like sometimes DMs do have to be like withholding with information because sometimes there's not a lot that you can give. So maybe that's an opportunity for you to recognize that you should be a little bit more perceptive yourself or in the way that your character is, because that can help you to role play too.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. Okay, that's, you started, right? You started with the first story? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was actually both of them.
That's it. We did it. We wrapped up. Okay.
If you guys like these RPG horror stories or have any of your own, make sure to leave them down in the comments, everybody, because we really have a blast reading these out. And to leave in the comments what format you like the best for these.
Yeah,
maybe we'll try to get together next time. Who knows?
Yes, I definitely would like to do one of these in person too, but it is really convenient sometimes to not, if we're both working or whatever, it is super easy to do this back and forth. But yeah, let us know if like this or the other format, or you like this would, I'll only ever watch this if you do it in person. Stuff like that.
Like, type in the comments, please do this underwater.
Also, exactly, yeah.
We're gonna see you later. If you do want to check out that merch, it's in the comments. He's got a nice shirt, and I got one of my own on the way.
Yes, yes. Other than that, subscribe if you haven't already, because you don't want to miss another one of these, right? Bye, everybody.